Hello BookTube, welcome to LizziefayeLovesBooks. I'm Elizabeth and today I've got a tag video for you. Now for this week of Vlogmas, I'm doing my own unofficial tag week. I need to catch up on some tags that I have been tagged in, and I also have an original tag that I plan to do this week. So this tag is going to be one that I was actually tagged in most recently. It's a brand new tag created by Bridget from Bridget Reads, and it's the Muppet Book tag. Now I think her and I got started talking about Muppets, and she was telling me that she was kind of thinking on doing a tag like this, and I'm so glad that she did because I'm a big Muppet fan. In fact, I have a few of my Muppet treasures around me here. My Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem Band plushies, and I don't know if you can see my Muppets on Vacation coloring book. And then in my Kermit and Piggy tin, I have Muppet trading cards. So the Muppets are just a lot of fun. Now in the video, Bridget showed a Muppet encyclopedia book that she had, and I don't have that, but the Muppet book that I have and enjoy is called Muppets, 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 and it's the best of Muppet magazine. So it is a lot of fun as well. And of course I have other Muppet things around the house, but these are just a few of the Muppet things that I own. So this tag is based on questions that represent several very random Muppet characters. We're not going to be talking Piggy and Kermit here. The biggest star in this video is going to be Fozzie, but Bridget has picked out several really interesting Muppet characters, and we get to come up with books that relate to those. So the first one is The Swedish Chef, and she wants us to think of a book that looked good but left a bad taste in your mouth. Well, I think sometimes in tags we tend to think of books that we've read most recently because they're fresh on our mind, and I'm no different. I just finished a book called The Great Turkey Caper on my Kindle the other day, and I'll show you a picture. Now look at this cover. Isn't this the cutest cover? And you would think that this is going to be a really fun book, but I just did not enjoy it. And I talked a little bit more about it on my last Friday read. So if you're interested in learning why I didn't like this book, then you can take a look at that video. And number 2 is Fozzie. Find a book that you couldn't help but laugh at the jokes or the sarcasm. I picked 2. When I was sitting in the doctor's office earlier this year, I was reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days by Jeff Kinney. I believe this is book 4 in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, and I was laughing out loud, and I thought, what are these people around me going to think? But who cares, really? It was just really a fun book. And then when she mentioned sarcasm, I immediately thought of this book. Twice Upon a Time by James Riley is book 2 in the Half Upon a Time trilogy, and this one especially stood out to me as being so sarcastic and snarky that it just made me laugh several times throughout the book. Number 3 is Bunsen, Honeydew, and Beaker. So you have kind of 2 choices with this one. You can name a book that had you feeling a little bit smarter because you learned something, or maybe the characters were so bumbling that you realized you were smarter than those characters. So I picked one that actually made me feel smarter because I learned something, and it made me feel better for having read it. This is a book I read in 2015 by Brian Tracy. It's called Eat That Frog, 21 Great Ways to Stop Procrastinating and Get More Done in Less Time. And I did learn a few things from this book. Some of these strategies I already knew, but I don't necessarily implement. And some of the strategies were just really good reminders of how to procrastinate less and get more done. Now, number 4 is Crazy Harry. Name a book that at least one of the characters or book features drove you crazy. Well, I'm going back to one of those books that I've just finished recently. Now, I said in my last Friday reads, this was a really good, solid read for me, but there were moments when the 2 main characters just annoyed me to death because they weren't communicating, and it was this whole angsty romance love triangle thing that was mixed in amongst the Ice Age people trying to survive, and just the romance aspect of it was just ridiculous sometimes. I'm still going to keep reading the series, but it definitely had some annoying moments. The next one is Janice, who is one of my top Muppet characters of all time, and the challenge is to name an easy read that gave you good vibes or good feelings. And of course I'm going to name my favorite book. It is perfect to mention it this time of year because this is A Redbird Christmas by Fannie Flagg. And then number 6, Statler and Waldorf, a book or series you loved that was turned into a movie or TV show that was a total letdown. Well, I have 2. One you've heard of and one you may not have. The first one I'll mention is Percy Jackson and Percy Jackson Sea of Monsters. Now, the Lightning Thief movie was not bad. It followed the story pretty closely. You know, it had issues, but it wasn't horrible. Then Sea of Monsters just had so many things that were so different from the book that I found it not nearly as enjoyable to watch this movie because it was so different. And then speaking of movies being different from the book, Child 44 by Tom Rob Smith was a book I had a love or hate relationship with. I hated most of this book, but it really, really reeled me in at the end and just made up for all the stuff that I was confused about in the early parts of the book. And so I was really excited to watch the movie, and it was just a complete letdown because it may as well have had a different name because it really was not the same book. About the only thing that I could see that was the same or the names of the characters. The storyline was different. It was just, the parts that I loved most about this book were completely absent from the movie. So it was a real big disappointment. And number 7 is Walter. Let's get other people involved and tag some people. So I will put down in the description below who I'm going to tag. I will tag several people, and if I don't tag you and you want to do this tag, then by all means you should do this tag. But for now, I want to thank Bridget for tagging me and for putting together this awesome tag. And that's all I have for this video. Hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.